everybody, I'm Mike.
I'm Matt.
And we're Mission Accomplished Media. And today we're going to be reviewing Star Trek Picard.
Yeah,
new show that came out.
Episode 1.
Yeah, first episode just dropped at like 3 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
But we took some notes on it and we watched it a couple of different times. When did they get it right, you know. And but before we get started, there's a little watermark down here, over here somewhere. If you want to click that and subscribe, that'd be great. Thank you.
And don't forget about our 1,000 subscriber contest that we're running.
Yeah.
This Mandalorian figurine is just the first part of it.
Yeah.
When we hit 250, we're going to add something else. When we hit 500 also.
And
when we hit 750,
yeah.
and then at 1,000, we'll pick, we'll pick one subscriber at random. We'll get the whole thing. So make sure you subscribe and share your comments with us. If you have a correction or comment, we want to hear from you as much as we talk to you. All right?
There we go. So I guess we'll get started. So show opens up with a great view of space.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Like the visuals, the colors were fantastic. It looks like they took like actual deep space photography and just like amped it up.
Yeah, it was fantastic. We get a couple different angles of a couple different nebulas. It zooms in. We get a faraway shot of the Enterprise.
That was cool. Like from the top down too. So it looked like it's kind of like a Matchbox size car. Like it wasn't big.
Yeah.
It actually took a second for me to get it. If it wasn't moving, I think I might have missed it.
But it's from an odd angle, so it and then zooms in, and it zooms into one of the windows.
The front, yeah.
And
so you get the
John
front,
Luke.
and you zoom in. That's like standard Star Trek shots, and that was really cool.
A little bit of lens flare, not too much. JJ.
The right amount of lens
Just
flare
the right
was
amount.
added.
Yep.
When you're approaching an object that makes its own light, you're gonna get some lens flare. So it was appropriate. So Picard and Data are playing chess.
Yep.
And there's some banter about Data's tell, which is he dilates his one pupil.
Yeah, a little bit. And then Picard pretty much says, so your tell is that you don't have a tell. So when your face is completely blank, I know you're bluffing. So they have a little back and forth. Data bets 50, and Picard's like, that's all I have. And Data's like, still, I bet 50. And then Jean-Luc's like, let's be gentlemen about this. And then he's like, want some milk for your tea?
Yeah.
Want some sugar?
Yeah.
Data's like, why are you stalling? And, Picard's like, I don't want the game to end.
Right.
But then he's like, I'm all in.
I have to say, like, at this moment, I kind of felt that the scene wasn't real.
Yeah.
But I thought it was going to be a holodeck thing.
Okay.
And I was actually, I was waiting for it to be like, to him to be like end program.
Yeah.
And,
at one point.
Or Data wins and then he ends the program.
But instead, we get a shot of them from the side, and it shows like I guess a red plane in the background.
Yeah.
We don't know what it is, but
Picard notices. And he says, "Why are?"
Oh yeah, he does. He says it right there. That's why.
He's like, I didn't realize we were by Mars or orbiting Mars, and
then it blows up.
Yeah, and right before it blows up, like for like maybe 10, 15 seconds, the music changes. Picard seems to get more and more agitated, and then
Data just kind of doesn't move anymore.
Right.
So
and like the conversation is lost. The chess game is no longer being played. The planet blows up, and the fireball envelops the Enterprise, and then Picard wakes up.
Yeah, he wakes up in his chateau in France.
Yeah, nice.
It wakes up to his face, and it switches over to his face, and cuts to a small shot of a dog running over.
Yeah, he calls his dog over.
Yeah, and I think that's his dog now. I think he adopted that dog.
Number one.
Or he brought it on board. It's one of the two. It's either he got the dog from the show or already had the dog and brought the dog on the show.
Yeah.
So, some way that dog's his now.
It's blink and you miss it. It's very low on it first, but he calls it number one.
Yeah, he's
and the dog is called number one like
the whole time.
Yeah,
like
a few times.
Yeah,
just like in quick succession, so that you understand what the reference is.
I feel like later in the season, if a certain actual number one shows up, which I think it shows. Like this is a spoiler review, so whatever.
Yeah.
But in the coming in this season, you do see him. You see the actual number one. Oh my God! Why can't I remember his name? Riker. Thank you.
Riker.
Yeah, and he does the Riker sit.
Yeah.
We should do the Riker sit one day, where we just like step
Climb over
we climb over from the back. Yeah.
You gotta swing your leg over.
Swing over. He's like 7 foot tall. That's why. And we're like 6 foot, 6 foot each. But
something Frakes.
I forget.
He's a successful director at this point.
Yeah.
He's had an impressive career.
Yeah. He's done
apparently and everything. Like at a point later on in the show, they let the actors just like start being parts of the crew, and like a lot of these people learned a lot about movie production and stuff like that.
during Next Generation, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
Next Generation.
So Jean-Luc throws open the doors. We look out on the vineyard that's been the wine vineyard that's been referenced in so many different shows.
Like season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. And then what's next? I think it was.
So the staff.
Yeah, he walks over to the staff, and then no. I think it just cuts to her, doesn't it? He opens up and looks out, and we see the stuff. We see some robots or whatever, like spraying the vines and taking care of the grapes, and then it cuts to our next character.
It cuts to a scene of a young woman and her significant other, Netflix and chilling on the couch.
Yeah. No, CBS All Access and chilling. Yeah. That's a mouthful. Like CBS and All Access and chilling would be.
Yeah. Well, when you're all accessing,
yeah, exactly.
You know you're getting a mouthful.
Yeah, right. I forget what the alien's name was in this scene, but he had some weird ass hair.
He had some scales on his face.
They're like markings or tattoos or just general race.
It was race.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was very humanoid, but like the hair looked like a bunch of ticks, like fat ticks on his head.
Yeah,
just I don't know. That's all I could think of. Maybe I live in too rural an area in Philadelphia. But
they're obviously like getting along really well.
Yeah,
they're having a nice conversation.
Yeah.
He name drop, like she admits that she got accepted to the Daystrom Institute as a fellow. He congratulates her. They're continues being they're cute together and all that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it flashes in. You have somebody like teleports into the room.
They hold her down. They put something over her face. It's like
they bag her.
Two things.
It's like
it comes up and they're like, she hasn't activated yet. And they put they don't even take that off. They put a bag over her head. And as they've teleported in, they've thrown a knife at the guy who's trying to get some. Yeah, they killed her boyfriend.
He was going to open a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
So he's at the fridge, like, doing this, and like, he turns around, like, what's going on? Yeah, and he's right dead instantly. So they bag her after they put the visor on.
Like, time slows down, and she's like... starts to breathe, and something happens, and she like gun katana from that movie Equilibrium with another.
She just like it almost reminded me a little bit of like Aeon Flux.
Okay, yeah, I can see that too.
It's just like
from the movie Aeon Flux, you mean?
The cartoon.
Oh, the cartoon. Oh, either. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like.
No, we're old enough to get the cartoon. I get it, but everybody else went in the movie.
Yeah.
Hopefully not, though.
I never saw the movie.
We should. A look back on Aeon Flux is what it will be.
On our next
yeah, why not, right? But so yeah, no, I get that. Or like the mate, it was very. I hate to say the word, Mary Sue.
Yes.
It's fine because of how this episode works out.
Yeah.
It's okay that she's a Mary Sue.
Right,
because they're setting up the potential.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. When they say she's activating, like, you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, is she some type of, like, sleeper or whatever?
Agent, something, yeah.
And she literally kicks some serious ass fast.
Yes.
But she's also, like, after she's done, she's freaking out because her boyfriend's dead.
Yeah.
She's freaking out by
what
she just did. But she doesn't...
killed 3 people blind.
Yeah, she doesn't understand how she did it, but she also doesn't understand why she did it.
Yeah.
She seems to not
know what the hell's going on at all.
Completely,
in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So she ends up, but she's, her anxiety's about to get the better of her when she's looking at her dead boyfriend. She runs over and looks at him and like kneels down, and then she has a flash of Jean-Luc Picard. And then that fades to white, and then we have the opening of the show, the title opening, I guess you'd say, which is really cool.
That's cool.
It
You
shows...
see these little floating things, and if you catch it real quick, when the title opens, you get like a 3 to 5 note reprise of the Star Trek theme.
Yeah.
It's subtle. It's subtle, but like
it's there. They're using it a little bit. Yeah.
I think I caught it on like the second time. Though it wasn't. It didn't catch me right away. But you had like as the text is coming up, you're seeing little particles floating through space, and then you're also seeing like.
It looked like self-replicating to me.
It looked like dots replicating and stretching.
And we watched the episode twice.
And they're forming an iris.
Yeah, and so the second time we watched it, I was, aware of the dialogue going into the first episode. Right. And so it seemed like it was, like you said, taking one thing and self-replicating everything from that one thing.
So you have these, like, basically just, like, little graphic bubbles.
Yeah, and then it just... and then it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then
But then you also have this other theme that's, like, these little floating, almost looks like puzzle pieces floating through, right?
Yeah.
And then, so, at one point, the little dots reveal, like, an iris, but then at the end, what you see is a big... Borg cube. Yeah,
and we end up floating through the Borg cube, and then we're like this little piece of fabric. Yeah. And after we're done floating through the Borg cube, it like attaches to Picard's face.
Right. So everything's like coming together and building.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it.
Whatever the iris is building, the Borg ship is building, and then pieces of Picard are coming together.
Yeah.
And then so then we cut back to Picard and his dog back in the vineyards.
Yeah, speaking French, chasing squirrels, killing squirrels. In fact, that's what it was. It's a squirrel.
Yeah,
they call him a little assassin.
Right.
It's like okay, but it's fine, because of a couple scenes later, when he's like, he'd let me know.
Right.
Yeah. Which we'll get to. Don't worry.
So he's runs into his staff. After a little bit of conversation, you realize that the two members of his staff are both Romulan.
Yeah.
So...
They ask him to be... This is where they set up they're setting up for the interview, correct?
Right, but they also... At this point, the female Romulan, I forget her name off the top of my head, she says that he was talking in his sleep. She said it didn't make any sense, but she knows that he's not sleeping.
Yeah.
So Picard is obviously disturbed by the Force.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah, whatever it is in Star Trek. And then it does cut to they talk about be the captain
be the captain. We remember.
Yeah, they remember. Yeah, be the captain. They remember. And then he's getting ready for an interview. I like the fact that they were setting up a filter, like a cosmetic filter.
That was really cool. Like it was just this little screen that sits between, I guess, what would be the camera, which was just this like little flat panel. It didn't have any buttons or anything.
Yeah.
Just like hung off a rod. I thought that was cool. And then you had this screen in front, like a hollow screen, that projected a fully dressed face onto the woman.
Like eyeshadow, everything, lipstick, all that stuff. But then her face is just normal. It's fine. It's that's pretty cool.
I thought that was really cool.
So this is the exposition dump of the episode, the biggest one, I think.
Yeah, and it's done well.
I like it's clever.
You want to pay attention to this.
So they interview him.
I think this is important, though, because it's been a long time since there's really been anything associated with the Next Generation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're talking, 12 years? I don't even know.
Or more.
Yeah, it might be more than that.
I think the last one came out, it's been more than 12 years.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking a decade. So there's a lot of people that could potentially pulling up the show that would have no clue about what's happening.
What's going on.
And even myself, who I consider myself, a middling fan of Star Trek, there's some of this stuff that I either haven't paid attention to in so long that I've forgotten, or never consumed in the first place. Yeah. So to me, this was an important scene. But
I honestly don't like the other show that's out right now for Star Trek Discovery. I'm not a fan of it. I tried to watch the first season, got a good bit of the way through, and then I just kind of dropped it.
I jumped onto it twice. I jumped in it first, and I liked it, and then other shows came up, and I started watching them.
Yeah.
And if you like your show that much, you really shouldn't want to drop it to watch something else.
And this is Star Trek.
Yeah.
This isn't like New Trek. It's Star Trek.
Yeah.
And it's very much late 80s, early 90s, next generation, coming home after school, sitting down, watching, getting ready to watch Picard, do his thing with Riker and all the rest.
Oh yeah, this had a real feel of old school next generation.
Yeah, the dialogue is good. You have to pay attention. You have to be engaged.
Patrick Stewart's just chewing up scenery.
Oh yeah. So did Tammy though. Some of it, I think, some of the dialogue later in the episode is hammy.
It comes out a little.
The pacing of this episode.
It comes out a little canned.
Yeah.
We'll get to it in a little bit, but there's a scene where Picard and Daj are chatting at the chateau. And
she shows up out of nowhere.
And
after the interview, he's outside with his dog.
And I think Stewart does a great job.
Mm-hmm.
The young woman does an okay job.
Yeah.
It does come off a little as
Ugh.
we generated these lines from a online sci-fi character.
Almost. Yeah, it seems like you said, canned.
Like role play or something.
Yeah.
Very stereotypical.
Tropey. But that's the thing, this whole character Dodge is a Mary Sue, and we'll see it, just because of the fact that she can track him and know where he's at, and the whole reason that she knows where he's from is because...
Well, let's go back to the interview a little bit. Okay, so in the interview, there's a couple things that come up. They talk about a Romulan supernova. They ask him how he felt about the Romulan supernova. He's like, how it changed him forever. The lasting impacts of it, which is that Romulans have been relocated to Earth. But we're getting from the newscaster or interviewer that there's some definite anti-Romulan sentiment.
Definitely, yeah. Because biggest enemy ever, this, that, and the other thing, talking about, right. And then they talk about how the synthetics attacked Mars.
Rogue synthetics attacked Mars.
So, and then we actually see where the synthetics are made later in the episode.
Right, and so apparently Mars is still on fire from this act. We don't know how long ago it happened, but it's obviously happened enough time ago to get a galactic ban on synthetic life.
I think it's been at least about 15 or 20 years.
Yeah, that's what I kind of assumed.
Picard says something like it's been 20 years since Data and our last mission was this.
Right.
And it was soon after that.
So 90,000 plus people died in this attack on Mars. So they ban all synthetic life.
Yeah.
Picard voices his disagreement with that and didn't think it should have been done.
He's also pissed off because of the way that Starfleet handled the Romulan evacuation.
Right. So they gave up on the Romulan evacuation after Mars was attacked.
Yeah.
And
then we come to find out that all these people that are attacking this chick are Romulans.
Yeah.
So it's did they have something to do with this attack? What's going on?
So basically, the interviewer baits Picard into getting into why he left Starfleet.
Yeah, and he says because they were no longer Starfleet.
Right, and then and so right after this, you see Daj interacts with Picard, and we get that exchange.
It cuts to her for a second in the street, and she's running, and she looks over, and that's how we know she knows where he's at in France. But the fact that she just shows up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, by the pacing. I'm just oh, damn, she's in France? She was just... But then you're thinking, well, it is 23 something or other.
Yeah, she was in Boston.
I guess it's I guess it's taking a bus.
Even nowadays, you can get from Boston to France in probably 6 hours.
Well, 6-8 hours, maybe 12 at the most. But still, it's just... Yeah. I know, but the next scene, I'm just telling you what.
It was jarring.
Jarring, yeah.
It was jarring.
Oh, hey, okay, we're here now. All right,
because
we didn't even see her getting the bus or something.
Well, the camera is on Picard, and he's just chilling.
Yeah.
Not CBS All Access.
No, just chilling out with the dog, with the peanut butter.
And then
I didn't see a love interest.
So we're on Picard. He's chilling, maxing out, relaxing.
Acting all cool, playing some b-ball back by the school.
Yeah.
A couple of dudes named Dodge came up.
So it cuts to a single girl. Shows up to bully him.
Yeah, right.
A single girl shows up, and it's Dodge. And that was a little jarring.
And the dialogue
I wish they would have
like,
smoothed that out. Instead of cutting, maybe they panned,
or
and she walks into the scene.
Yeah.
Just to give you something it almost seemed like she teleported there.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't get any sense of time
Transition or
time
anything. Yeah.
You know, like she saw the interview 15 minutes ago, and now she's in France.
Yeah,
which is, she was in.
I know, but like I'm saying, it's 20 something or other, and they do have teleporters, right?
No, maybe that's it.
I mean, maybe you are being teleported. You could teleport from one side of the... Wow.
But why wouldn't they just show that?
Right?
You know, just...
That's what I'm saying. Show us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So between that and that quick cut...
The whole scene feels... Let's establish this dialogue and establish this connection between us real quick. Yeah. Oh my God, I feel so safe with you. Everything in my being says I feel safe with you. Right. And Picard's like... Well, I'm an 80-year-old man, and you're pretty hot. All right, like I know it's fine, baby. Like
there was definitely some.
It was like
a few lines in that.
I was like, or what's going on?
And the girl is like super cute.
Yeah, yeah. But it was a little confusing because you're like, dialogue could be taken. If you're reading this, it could be taken any which way.
Oh yeah, just a different inflection and some of the voice
exactly
would change this immensely. Where you would be like, ooh. You know?
Creepy old man, but
it turns Jean-Luc Picard into Benjamin Franklin.
But Patrick Stewart does a great job of being a sweet, elderly captain.
He nails it.
Yeah, he does good.
Like from him, I think the performance is A+. And you know, they play to his age, so he's not digitally changed in any way.
Yes,
which is perfect. At one point, you know, Dodge is trying to get him to run through the Starfleet Museum parking lot or whatever, garage or up a building or something.
And he's like,
he's obviously struggling.
I can't keep up. But she's like lifting him up and stuff and making him run.
And so,
but that's later in the episode a little bit. Scene cuts to them having dinner. She shows him the necklace.
Yeah, the necklace.
At that point. Which
is a double circle. It's a two circles connected.
Yeah, it's some sort of symbol. We don't know what it means yet. We find out this episode.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Episode does a good... the first episode does a good job of setting up some questions and giving you some answers immediately.
Yeah.
It's not, it's not edging you the whole time. You know what I mean? And like raising the tension up and then like, episode's over.
Right.
Nothing got answered. Yeah. No, it does a good job of answering some questions, getting you intrigued.
Yeah.
Putting not just one, but multiple carrots on sticks in front of you.
Anytime they seem to have a slow, part where you need some exposition and they use dialogue to do it, and they do the dialogue in interesting ways. Mm-hmm. There's a few, like you said, there's a few times where it gets a little daytime soap opera-y.
A little tiny bit,
But it's not enough to really knock the show. It didn't take me out of the show. It might have slowed down my enjoyment of it, but it didn't remove it.
Those two servants come out and they end up saying can we help you with anything? They need anything, and Picard's like, nah, just show her to a room. She's a guest. But then he wakes up in the morning. And she's gone. And he's like, oh, well, shit, whatever. I'm still going to go to my archives.
I'm impressed.
But he has a dream as this. And the dream is he's walking, he opens up the door like we see in the first
vineyard shot.
And he's looking out and he sees Data and the back of Data, and Data's painting a picture. And it's a female, right? With no face. And so Jean-Luc comes out and stands behind Data. By the way, he's wearing his Star Trek Admiral's uniform with the 4 dots on the side, and Data's dressed like he normally is, and Data's like, do you want to finish this? And
and he's trying to hand him
a brush.
And Picard's
Jean-Luc's like, I don't know if I know how, and Data's like, you know how, sir.
Yeah, you know what to do.
Yeah, and then then he wakes up and goes to the Starfleet Archives.
Museum. Starfleet Museum Archives. But when he wakes up, doesn't he look at his wall and there's that painting?
Yeah, it's one
of
two. Yeah,
and he sees the face and it's Dodge.
No. Is it Dodge, or is that particular painting the head is turned toward the sea?
Oh yeah, it's when she turns around. I forgot about that. Yeah. Okay.
Because I was like,
so they're not exact copies.
Exactly.
They're close.
It's a series. It's a series of paintings. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the same. The confusion I'm having is that it's the same painting except for the face.
That's it. Yeah,
so
the head never turned.
When Picard wakes up, he looks at his wall,
which proves how precise Data is in everything that he does. The painting is exactly the same on both.
Right.
Both. So we end up seeing that he has a dream, and then he goes to the Starfleet archives.
Yeah, the museum archives. That was kind of cool. You get he's obviously in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. They show the Golden Gate Bridge. They show the big Starfleet base, academy, whatever it is. Yeah. It's huge. It's cool looking. It's cool. The CG is really, really clean there.
All the building scenes.
Yeah.
All of the faraway shots of cities in this were really cool. It was so close to our own cities right now, with just slight differences
advanced.
And a smattering of really advanced buildings.
Yes.
Which just makes me think is like, oh, is it like huge? I don't know. But it was some other things were like cyberpunky too, like little Blade Runner-y for me. Boston at night was little Blade Runner, which is fine, perfectly fine.
Yeah, I mean, if I remember correctly, in like the Starfleet or Star Trek universe, there's very little crime. There's no very
poverty.
Like they've eliminated poverty and hunger.
Yeah.
But they show these streets of Boston that look pretty. Gringy.
So it's not perfect. Not perfect, right?
So I thought that was cool because you don't really see like seedy underbelly of Federation. Mm-hmm. You see seedy underbelly of every other culture. You know, or that is their culture. They're just all seedy underbelly.
He's walking with a woman, and the way she's speaking is robotic and like
the way she looks, her face
is it staccato or staccato? What's the way I'm supposed to say that?
Staccato is like.
And that's how she's kind of walking and talking.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, it's I guess
android.
It's an android or just sort of like a convincing robot, I guess, right? Not really anything sentient. And it's being a hologram, which was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Like she stops and says, at this point I have to leave you in your privacy. Mm-hmm. And her name is Index,
which is funny.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Although I would have loved that they called her like Dewey Decimal.
He ends up going in, and it's pretty cool. There's a little CG where this package unwraps it, or
it's like a seal. It's and you notice it's pretty quick, but it's preserving the picture, preserving and painting. So it has like oxygen, argon percentages on it.
It's a pretty cool callback with the banner.
The Picard Day banner.
Yeah.
That was cool. That was from season 1 or 2. That's early on.
When Wesley shows up.
I think so. I think it's season
like
1.
You had mentioned. I think it's what you mentioned.
I will have to check.
There's also one of those Klingon things too.
If you know what episode
Picard Day was,
and comment below.
Yeah.
And is it the episode that Wesley first debuts in? I really feel like it is. But I didn't want to dive through all the goodness of season 1 Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah, let's not.
Today. Coming soon, our deep cut review of all the Star Trek stuff.
Oh. No, I don't. No.
We're going to sit down and watch every Star Trek.
Oh, God, no. Deep Space Nine, I can take Next Gen and Deep Space.
I'm pretty much just Next Gen, and I'll be on this, but this is what I wish they would have been doing for the last 20 years.
Well,
I like Next Generation.
He wasn't old enough yet.
No, I'm not talking about Picard. But I'm talking about what happened to Riker? What happened to LaForge? What happened to these guys? There's so much potential that they could have spun stuff off of these guys. Riker's gonna be there. But if they went 30 years in the future, now LaForge is the captain, I think that would be cool.
Yeah, when did they bring him on the bridge? Right? He was just an engineer for a while, and then they brought him on the bridge.
Right.
Yeah. So he ends up calling Index, and he asked what the name of the painting is.
This painting had a name.
That's daughter.
And his daughter.
And it shows her face.
Don't call me daughter.
Yeah, right?
I actually just heard that song earlier today, so it was in my head too. And it's like, why didn't you, I'm sure Pearl Jam would have given the rights to that song for that point.
So it ends up cutting from here, it's like, oh, revelation.
Yeah,
okay, so it cuts to her, cuts to Dodge. She's on the phone with her mom,
right?
Who is either A, a recording, B, a really shitty
could
AI.
Be one of those masks.
Yeah.
Or
she's been gotten to.
She's
right?
She's a deep fake.
Yeah, something
that's
like that.
That's what I.
Some kind of deep fake. Yeah.
It felt like a deep.
And
fake.
she's like, go back to Picard. Go back to Picard.
Yeah,
go back to Picard.
She's like, you didn't know I was even with him.
Yeah.
And she's like, don't just find Picard. And gives her the ultimate shortcut. Like,
Yeah.
just
Close your eyes and focus. Right? Close your eyes and focus. And all of a sudden, you're a master hacker.
Yeah, she hackety hacks.
And it's like, Picard.
Yeah.
All right.
And I mean, it was cool. The HUD display was cool.
Oh, the special effects in the scene in this little tiny
awesome.
thing. I very much want to incorporate them into this show.
Eventually,
I
we'll
just,
get there.
but instead we just have a watermark down here so that you can like and subscribe. Thank you so much. And but yeah, it was cool because the next thing is John Luke is walking out of the archives, and he she shows up.
They have their second
within-
meet cute.
Yeah. So here's the thing.
Payback.
She goes to
Picard is
France.
like,
She goes to France, then she runs away. Then he goes to San Francisco,
and she finds.
and then she finds him there.
Yeah, and like a decade.
What public transportation system exists in this place? I want to know.
Do they have the big Futurama vacuum tubes?
I have no idea, but I just want to know how the he's showing up so quick.
Dude, you think there's jetpacking in like Game of Thrones season 7? This is like
They can literally teleport. They just don't show it happening. Like there must be public teleportation platforms.
there has to be
Right?
Maybe they just didn't get into it in this episode.
But I just want some more freaking lore about if there are public. You know what? If you are a Star Trek fan out there and you know if they have in the future public transportation,
public
teleportation. Thank you. Public teleportation transportation platforms. Let me know.
Yeah, because that's the only.
I'm too lazy to look it up myself.
That's the only way. Because Picard doesn't lose any time travel.
No.
Because he's in France, then he's in San Francisco,
And then he's in Okinawa. Right? They're globe trotting.
Yeah.
Like, all right, it's fine.
But I mean, since it's
better than light speed skipping. They end up running away.
Yeah.
No. They end up sitting on a bench
and chatting.
Yeah, it's so.
They have a heart to heart.
They really do. They have a heart to heart,
Yeah.
and then it's pretty much like, no, you're the daughter of an android.
Yeah,
You're
She's like freaking out. She's like, I'm some kind of freak.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you're the most special thing ever.
Yeah.
Because you were built by like this man.
someone who's just all courage.
Yeah, all hope.
All hope and courage, and the best of humanity was an android.
Yeah.
But,
And wind, water,
Earth, fire, heart, all the fifth elements, right? Or 5 elements, right? But so it goes, and he's like, just if you're really honest with yourself, if you're really this with yourself, and you look inside, you're gonna see.
You're still.
And so it says that, and he says that to her, and she's about to do that, and all of a sudden she's like, "Bad guy somewhere," because literally a moment later or a moment before this, she's like,
she can hear
"I can hear conversations a block away."
Right.
It's like, okay. And
She almost seems prescient.
Yeah, like a little.
Like
oh my god!
Like she feels or sees or gets a sense of something right before it's about to happen.
Yeah.
So
they're running upstairs. This is what we mentioned earlier. Jean-Luc gets really tired
he's
out.
winded.
Yeah, they're running upstairs.
She's trying to pull him along, but he's like
He's
old.
He's old.
It's like, you're gonna break me.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know?
So they get to the roof, and then 3 or 4 Romulans show up again. She kicks their ass. But this scene alone is kind of worth watching. It's the action scene, the best action scene of this episode. She ends up. I can't remember.
The worst CGI though.
Oh yeah, I'll say that.
The best action, but the worst CGI. There's a shot where she's like running across the courtyard, and like she does it in like 3 bounds, and it looks like CW CGI.
Like bad Flash season 1 stuff. Yeah.
It's not the greatest CGI there. So she takes out like, I think what was there 4?
Yeah, it's like 3 or 4 or 5, something like that.
It's a small number.
The last
she takes out all of them except one, and he's got the high ground up on top of the steps, and he's taking pot shots at her, completely ignoring Picard.
Yeah, everybody ignores him. Like he's too much of a issue if he dies or something.
They don't even bother going after him. He's just not. He's not the target.
Right.
You know.
And he's also just cowering. Kind of.
Yeah, he's an 80-year-old man.
It's like it's kind of different seeing Picard cower behind. And he's
when
like,
I'm 80, I'm gonna cower from steps.
But he doesn't even have like a phaser, right? Only I guess only the military has phasers, so the weapons are. So it ends up being revealed they're Romulans because he sees one of their ears.
Yeah, and he says Romulans.
Yeah, one of the ones that she throws one of them down the stairs, and the helmet comes off, and it's Romulans. And it's revealed it's Romulans, and then the last one that she ends up killing bites his tooth,
Yeah, he's
which
got
is
like
some
a
sort of-
basically like
yeah.
what you would think like in like spy movies would usually be.
But it's
the,
like an acid
the
or something,
cyanide pill,
right?
But he spits some of it out, and it hits.
Sorry.
It hits
The gun,
It hits
her.
Dodge and the gun she's holding.
Yeah.
It starts. You see it start eating at the gun, but it's also like slowly eating at her clothes and her face. She drops the gun and starts screaming. The gun starts to overload and explodes.
Yeah. Picard's like, no!
Yeah. And here's an 80-year-old man that gets hit by a blast wave.
Yeah.
And thrown like 25 feet.
Exactly.
You
And he's
know?
not dead.
Yeah.
He's not dead at all, even though he would be.
Yeah.
He
And
would
so Dodge dies.
be. Oh, she dies.
And so
you literally see her get incinerated.
Yeah.
If you pause it and you, like I did,
Yeah.
it's like, oh no, there's like her neck bones.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like,
it's
no,
pretty-
it's pretty bad.
It's pretty specific that she is dead.
Yeah.
Um,
Which we and you looked at each other like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, but that. I mean, I felt like it just
Waste of
didn't,
an episode.
It just didn't seem real.
Yeah.
Like it didn't seem real, and
When's he gonna wake up? Because that's
Right.
happened twice already this episode.
exactly. Like
Yeah. But instead, he wakes up and his two helpers at his plateau or chateau. Sorry,
plateau is
his
a
French
high
chateau.
raised flat part of what.
I understand. His chateau on the plateau in France.
Yeah.
It's above sea level. But no, so they cut back to him and his helpers in the chateau in France, and
He's talking to them, and like they seem very concerned.
yeah.
But again, it doesn't seem like any time has passed.
They also mentioned nobody saw anything because they must have all worn
Cloaks.
Cloaks.
Yeah,
They have cloak emitters or something because you were the video shows that you're by yourself
Right.
on the top until something explodes and you get thrown back.
Yeah, that was like.
But it's obviously
So was
this is the one issue I had. Why isn't he in a police station? Why isn't he
hospital
in the hospital? Why? Yeah. Like they even mentioned the police
right
in this. And it's like, but they didn't see anything on the cameras.
right and then
It's like, what? Something exploded, and you see an old man cowering.
not
and
just
then
an
something
old
explodes.
man, an old legendary.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
person.
Exactly.
You know,
you don't
this-
want to know what he has to say.
This
like,
is Jean-Luc Picard. He's like,
Yeah.
he's not like just like your 80-year-old neighbor that like slipped on
Yeah.
on snow
And broke his
You
hip.
know,
Yeah, exactly.
This is Jean-Luc Picard. So if he says like there was people here and they attacked me, he's gonna be all burned. Like
yeah.
you know,
I don't know. It was the one part of the episode that I had an issue with.
I'm hoping that is explained soon, because it's a big cliffhanger and it's kind of annoying, because basically what it comes down to is by the end of this episode, I wasn't quite sure what of Picard's story was actually true,
Yeah.
because the everything moves so fast, but like at that point he's talking to but he also resolves to start living at that point. So within a blink of an eye, an 80-year-old man that just got hit by a fireball.
He gets up and goes to the Daystrom Institute.
He's
in
like
Okinawa.
He's like Uncle Joe in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh yeah, golden ticket. All right. F this bed and my hip dysplasia.
And I'm hoping that Mike will throw in the Uncle Joe dancing scene
God.
right here.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Because no 80-year-old that's like pretty much retired is just gonna go start like gallivanting across the world, but then he goes to the Daystrom Institute, which is in Okinawa.
And we meet someone who's going to be in the crew because we see it in the previews.
Dr.
in the
Agnes
Girardi?
Girardi.
Girardi. So her and this guy named Bruce Maddox were the ones who are seriously researching data, synthetics, and other things.
Artificial intelligence.
It's implied that they weren't in charge at the time of the rebellion, but all of the rebellious synthetics were built from that institute.
Yeah, so it's the Division of Advanced Synthetic Research, right? And so it kind of seems like Maddox was there when the robots that went rogue were built. But you're not quite sure about Girardi.
And then it's just I feel like
the research center is empty. There's like 3 people in it, and Picard mentioned it. He's like, "Oh, this is a ghost town," and she's like, "Well, after the ban,
not much to do.
All
we can do is study, publish. We can study, publish, and theoretical stuff, and then we can run simulations. And that's all we can do, which is pretty much nothing. If you're literally trying to make a robot, and that's all you can do, you're
But
not doing much.
the whole time Picard is pushing her, he keeps on dropping hints that he
Yeah.
just had a conversation with a,
with a synthetic made of flesh and blood.
right. And so they're walking, and at first she kind of laughs it off, but then she takes him a little bit more seriously. Then she starts answering his questions. They will go deeper into the Institute as they're talking.
It's when he shows her the symbol.
Yes.
Yeah, that's when she's like, "I wish you would have come on my day off. I wouldn't have
Right.
to deal with this and know."
And
about
then they
this
pull
right now."
out the shelf. What we've seen in early reveal footage of this shelf coming out, or
Yeah.
even stills of it.
And it's
And
B4.
it's before it's
Yeah.
the
Which is
evil
a throwback.
clone Data that was crazy and evil and
Because it was bad. It was just bad tech.
Yeah.
That's really what it was. It
Right.
couldn't handle being human.
yeah, it was
like,
too much.
yeah.
It didn't have the same
Neurons. Literally, they mentioned
Right.
neurons about 17,000 times in this conversation.
positrons, neurons.
Yeah, and, but it's fine because they pretty much say that if you have one neuron of Data's,
Yeah,
just
and
one, theoretically you could bring him
it's
back.
self-replicating neural net.
Yeah.
Will restore itself. Like,
Exactly, which is what I mentioned in the beginning.
they basically just
the
gave
title opening.
They gave you the reveal of
Yeah.
like.
This is how we're gonna do this. But also, like I said, with the title opening, that's you literally have one
Yeah.
like decahedron that's like split, and then
Yeah.
everything else goes from there, and it makes an eyeball, and then Picard, and then.
Yeah, it was cool. So they call that an essence.
Mm-hmm.
So they're
Which I would just say is like synthetic DNA. I
Yeah.
don't know.
so it's like a program scrap. You
Yeah,
know, like
right.
when if you don't delete a program like completely, there's that like, so it's like like a DLL file or something like that
Yeah,
that's
just
left in your
scrappy.
hard drive. You
Yeah.
know, you're like, what is?
Yeah.
That's
What's taking up 17 million gigabytes?
yeah.
Yeah.
This program I no longer use, or Adobe After Effects. Pick one. So in the conversations between Picard and Dr. Girardi, she just keeps on mentioning. She keeps on saying them, and eventually Picard. She just says it 2 or 3 times,
Yeah.
and Picard's
He's
like,
"Who's them?"
And she's like, "Well, they're always made in twos," and he's like, "Oh, twins." And so it cuts. It does this. It cuts.
He's like, there's another.
And it does this roller coaster transition following this like gunship.
So the
little
ship's
fighter.
just like going through, but the
Yeah,
camera,
the camera is,
is
like-
spinning around
Oh my God,
the
it's-
ship. Like it's oriented looking at the ship, and you're just, oh my
Yeah,
God.
it does like a barrel roll.
It was very disorienting.
360.
No need
it
for
was
No need for it.
very unnecessary.
They could have. They should have just gone like that, and done the big reveal
Yeah.
of the whole thing,
Yeah,
and then
or
zoomed
just
in.
or just a 360 pan would have
Yeah.
been fine.
Yeah.
Go from front to back.
Yeah.
You know, you're not.
Sorry, we're not trying
Yeah.
to critique too much, but
I mean, we're not professionals. We're not doing the
but we did go to school for it.
If you start paying us, we will be
We'll be
professionals.
professionals. We really should start a Patreon. Anyway,
So after the transition, you get 2 characters.
yeah.
You get the twin. Her name is Soji.
Yep.
And she's like in military dress or.
She seemed like some sort of doctor.
student
It says implied
research.
that she fixes broken people all day, so
Yeah.
she's a doctor, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
the
that
conversation.
the guy that says that line is
His name
Narek,
is Narek, yes.
and he gives her the campiest sad
Oh.
sack pickup line. And
That was what I just referenced. He's like,
Yeah.
you fix people, broken people, all day. I'm sure you don't want to fix a broken person after work.
over drinks or
Here's my pecs and my bicep and my chiseled jaw, but my 2 fucked up front
and
teeth.
this guy looks like straight out of like
Weird.
not to mix canons, but this guy looks like straight out of like Sith Acolyte. He's all black.
Oh, yeah.
He's greasy.
Yeah.
He's kind of a little greasy looking, but not like he's not like he doesn't exactly look evil. He's still clean. Like his face isn't scarred or anything.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
not,
yeah.
He's not
That's
mustache
scarred.
twirling, but he might as well be.
Yeah,
He's
kinda.
wearing all black.
The music, you
He's
mentioned,
slick.
he called out that the music changed when you came
Yeah.
on screen. He's like, oh, the music just changed. So, props for that,
Yeah.
big guy. High five. Fuck yeah.
The music changed drastically.
Yeah, it was a big
It
change.
was like
Because the third time we watched this thing, we're watching it at like 1.5 speed because we're like, let's just make sure we didn't miss
it's like
anything.
BOOM!
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, jeez. And it's like, and it's because it's going so fast.
It's like it's loud. It's deep.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
it's like
But when it goes fast, it's like,
watching it in 3x speed is a way to.
And with subtitles, you're like, oh, that's important. Because that was up for a half a second, not like, boop. But all in all, pretty good episode.
Here's what we do for our process. We watch once to enjoy.
Yeah.
Twice to
take notes.
And then
a third time just
skim.
for S's and G's to make sure that we didn't miss too much. Yeah.
And that's how we get, we make sure that we...
Yeah, when time allows...
Don't make asses of ourselves in front of a camera.
Oh, yeah. But if we do, we can cut it.
Yeah. So, at that point,
it's zooming out. It's zooming out. And we're zooming out.
Yep.
And it continues to zoom out.
Then
it zooms out some more.
And it zooms out.
And then finally, you're like, why is it taking so long?
Come on,
like, a little bit. And then it's like, oh, it's a Borg cube.
But it's not Borg cube because we saw Romulans in it.
So yes, the Romulans found and captured a Borg cube, which is pretty badass in and of itself.
Which means they might have access to Borg tech.
Yeah, our Borg. Which would be the cloaking shit, right?
Right.
What that they just used to.
Well, the Vulcans have had.
But personal cloaking devices.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, I don't. No, I'm saying you're right.
Okay. I thought you were saying no, they've had it, and you're not a good Star Trek fan, which is true. Because I like Star Wars. I mean, don't get me wrong. Deep Space Nine is my shiz, but and so is like the later episodes, last couple, 4 seasons.
I think once you get over the initial lack of like the video quality is just poor. In the first season.
Oh god, the production quality is so bad.
And I'm amazed that Patrick Stewart ever steps foot on that stage, but thank God he did,
right?
Because he's awesome as Picard.
I mean, isn't the first episode with Q, right? Isn't the first episode with Q?
I think so.
And it's like,
and they go
like a high school production.
They go in and it's like in media res. This conflict has already been like, it feels like it was established like in something I never saw.
Yeah.
So, Mike, would you say this is a mission accomplished on this episode?
Yes, even with my gripes that I mentioned, which weren't really big. It was just like pacing and like a little bit of hammy dialogue.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think it's mission accomplished. How about you? What do you think?
I agree, and and I don't like.
Come on! I gotta do it twice, 3 times, 4 times. Now the audience is getting annoyed.
Okay.
All right, because it makes a noise every time you do it. Boom.
Yeah,
every time.
You can just cut me doing that.
I'm not gonna cut. All right.
Yeah, there's some minor flaws. I mean, but you got Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart's back.
Yeah. You got Brett Spinner as Data.
At least for a little bit, right? But
yeah.
I read an article that they de-aged him. Could you tell?
No.
I mean, that's puffy cheeks for a couple years.
But they use prosthetics.
Yeah,
for Data too. So they probably gave him a tape.
One of these. One of these.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, he's a little fatter in the cheeks than he was.
Yeah, which is big. He's older. I expect it to happen. I mean, happened to me.
Yeah.
So I expect that to happen to
much
everybody
better
else.
shape than I am.
Yeah, and I couldn't tell that they de-aged him at all in any way.
No, I think it was
good CGI. I'll say.
If there was digital done, I give him props. But
there was, yeah.
So that was props though. But I would say mission accomplished.
All right, number 5. What?
Just change it with the Dunk Dunk from Law and Order.
Oh.
Yeah. Copyright.
So this is Mike and Matt saying mission accomplished.
Absolutely. Looking forward to more.
Yeah, for Picard. I think that it's going to be a good season because of what we saw right afterwards in the coming of.
Yeah, and that was like the whole season coming of. It was like another trailer.
Yeah. It was about 30 seconds worth of good.
Oh, it was good.
A lot of quick cuts.
Yeah.
There was number 1, the actual number 1.
Yeah, William Riker.
There you go. And then there was a couple of scenes with like yellow eyes.
What's the Borg girl's name from
7 and 9? I think 7 and 9. We saw her.
Yeah.
And then there's also but I mentioned like the yellow android eyes. I want to know what's going on with that.
That was super quick
because
too.
Is
it before?
I don't know because it was only really from like here to here on the screen. It's like it was so quick. And I'm like I can't even see and I can't tell. Because there's a lot of depth going on there, like a lot of bokeh going on there in the scene. So it's only this, and you can't tell details around the face.
No, it's...
So yeah, we're Mike and Matt from Mission Accomplished Media, and we think that Star Trek Picard Season 1, Episode 1 is a mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished.
Boom.
Yeah, definitely.
And we're excited to see what the next episode is, and we liked the coming up the season. We saw a bunch of stuff. Riker, Troy, android eyeballs that look like Data that we can't tell if it's him or not.
Explosions,
Borg stuff.
What's the Borg Starfleet officer's name?
709.
709.
I think.
Got her, and she's still really, really attractive. So
yes, she's God, her and Trisha Helfer haven't aged.
Nah.
I hope they bring Trisha Helfer into this. I know she's not Star Trek, but she's like, still, please.
She can still be a Cylon.
Please, I don't care. Yeah, just please come back. And then Katie Sackhoff should show up in this too, just because they need to find something.
Right.
I want the combination of the actors of Battlestar to come into the Star Trek because they were such good actors in that show.
Yeah, they were.
Sorry, we're in left field here, but this is what you came to us for, to see.
You are now 28 minutes into the video, so if you're still here,
thank you.
You don't mind.
Yeah, really appreciate that. But again, we have a little watermark down there. If you want to tap that to, ding our dong and like and subscribe and all that good stuff.
Ding our dong.
Yeah, ding our dong.
Okay.
It goes ding dong.
Yeah.
It's a bell.
Ding our dong. Okay.
That's not copyrighted.
I didn't know that was
Angry
a term.
Joe says it, but I don't care. He's not gonna. What's he gonna do? Sue me?
I didn't know it was.
Please don't sue me, Angry Joe. I know you can afford it.
I don't know it was a term. I'm just laughing at it.
Okay.
I didn't know that people used
It's
this.
fine. I'm gonna use it from now on.
Hey, don't forget to check us out on Facebook and comment below. And really, we're trying to start a community of people that will talk to us as much as we talk to you.
Exactly.
So again, I'm Matt.
And I'm Mike.
And
we're Mission Accomplished Media.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys later. Peace out.